Islam. This is the Mahdi's ascension. Racism according to Moorish law. A kafir, by definition, is a treasonist, a disloyal motherfucker. And every treasonist is a racist. Every kafir is a racist because a treasonist will never commit treason until he bases something superficial as the motive of his personal value. Let me say that again. Every kafir is a racist because a treasonist will never commit treason until he bases something superficial as the motive of his personal value. Right on. A kafir, many Muslims who testify, using the word kufar, kafir. Every kafir is a racist. If you are a racist, you're a kafir. And every kafir will never commit treason until he bases something superficial as the motive of his personal value. Now it's time to get into this Moorish law. It's time to use the evidence to base my judgment. Let's go. Allah says every racist is a liar. Every racist is a liar. Alladhina kafaru yukathibun. You kathibun. You're a kafir. Kathibun. You're a liar. A kafir is a liar. Every kafir is a racist because a treasonist will never commit treason until he bases something superficial as the motive of his personal value. Every kafir will never confess its racism. Allah says every kafir is a liar. So let's give an example. I'm greater because you made me of fire and him from clay. Remember, these are the words of Satan. He disobeyed the command of Allah when Allah ordered the angels and the jinn to surrender to Adam. But every kafir is a racist, right? Satan based as the motive of his personal value fire to disobey God. Ain't that right? What does Allah say about superficial things? That they are nothing but accessories of this world. Temporal things that you use to access other accessories. As a matter of fact, you use accessories to get closer to God. You use the money. It's not what you do with the money. Pardon me. It's not that you have the money, it's what you do with it. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Ain't that right? Anything superficial like your tongue, words, speech are all accessories of this world. So good behavior is better with your Lord. Good behavior. So it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Satan used the superficial to base his personal value. But Allah says every racist is a liar. This is what Allah revealed Satan's words, right? Satan said that that's the reason why he didn't want to obey. Allah says in chapter 4, verse number 136, trust in the book that was sent down upon my messenger and the book that came before it. That is the Injil. All right. So we're going to go into the Injil. Every Muslim is required to, by Sharia law, to study the Injil, according to chapter 4, verse number 136. All right. Trust in the book and the book that was sent down before it. Trust in the Quran and in the Injil. And I highly recommend every Muslim, every Moor, to get the copy of the Gospel of Barnabas, because in the Gospel, Barnabas talks about all the shit that Paul did. So in verse 35, we're going to see the lie of Satan. So he said, the reason why I don't want to obey you, God, is because, I'm fire and he's clay. But that's not the truth. Every racist is a liar. Because once Satan disobeyed God, he became a kafir, a racist, a treasonist. Jesus said, God, after creating the mass of earth and leaving it there for 25,000 years without touching it, Satan, right, was a priest of the jinn. He wasn't a Satan then. He was Iblis. Iblis was a priest of the jinns, and he understood the intentions that God had with this piece of meat. He knew that God was going to make 144,000 prophets out of this piece of earth. He knew that 25,000 years in advance. So we understanding that Iblis, before Adam even had the gift of life, already knew the intentions of God with this piece of clay. He was a priest of all the jinns. Right on. So what did this Iblis character do? Being jealous, he instigated all the other jinns saying, look, one day God will give life to this earth, and then we're going to have to give reverence to this motherfucker. But we are fire. We are fire. So this is not, this is not something we should do, right? And there's a little bit of inside detail that Jesus gives in the Gospel of Barnabas, that when God had gave the command, for the angels and the jinns to bow down, Satan, of course, he refused. And when he had get kicked out of the garden, that he had spit on the earth. He spit on the earth. And that's how you got your belly button. So that's even deep, right? The belly button comes from Satan's spit. But what needs to be understood is that every racist, every treasonous, every kafir is a liar. Satan really hid the jealousy, thus making jealousy being the motive of racism. But every racist hides the jealousy, right? Because Allah says every racist is a liar. So the excuse that Satan used was, I'm fire and he's clay. But the reality is he was jealous of Adam before Adam was even given the breath of life. 25,000 years according to Jesus. So you see, every racist is jealous. That's the reason why a motherfucker will commit treason. That's why a motherfucker will be racist, because they're really jealous of you. Satan was jealous of Adam and the future and the intentions. How dare God make this piece of lump prophets, and not to mention caliphs of the earth, because Allah intended to make caliphs with this piece of earth. How dare God do that? And I'm the priest of the jinn. I want to give some examples of how every racist becomes liars. Right? You got two sisters, and one is more courteous to help their mother with the cooking. Right? So she sits closer to her mother for dinner. But the other sister doesn't want to eat dinner no more. And the mom's like, yo, why you don't want to eat dinner? She's hiding the jealousy. So she says, oh, because I'm older. And that's why. I should be sitting next to you, Mom, because I'm older. So she hides the jealousy from her mama. Another example is you got two brothers, right? One is more brave to fight bullies. So the jealousy of the other brother causes him to spread lies. Like, nah, he's just showing off. He's just trying to get, attention or money, right? From y'all. See, a racist motherfucker will hide their jealousy and try to base this they try to big themselves up off of something superficial, right? Another example of Joseph, the story of Joseph. Ain't that right? Right, his brothers created a lie for Jacob so they could sell him, because Joseph was smarter than them. And they wanted more attention from their father. So you see, every racist is a jealous motherfucker. And Jesus in the Gospel of Barnabas exposes him. That's why Allah says we have to read the Gospel of Barnabas, the book before the Quran, because Allah gives all the answers, gives us all the clues when we study the word. Right on? Allah says in 1855, and what could stop the people from believing when divine guidance comes to them and seeking their Lord's forgiveness, except that the culture of the ancestors comes to them or an immediate attack? So this is a rhetorical question. Allah knows everything, but Allah wants to see if you're going to really think about anything else that could stop a motherfucker from believing. When divine guidance, we understand messengers are divinely guided. They speak in the name of God. They come with spiritual guidance. What would stop somebody from believing in the messenger? Allah says, except two things would happen. The culture of the ancestors, or that an immediate attack would happen. If you stop to ponder and think about anything else that you can think of that could stop someone from believing in God, if you can't think of nothing else, then stick with these two answers, because God is more intelligent. Ain't that right? If you consider the so-called Negro in America, he was immediately attacked, that's by the white man, slavery, and he was given a culture. He was hit with both. So that's the two things that stopping Negroes from accepting the Mahdi, is the fact that they have been mentally and physically traumatized and they follow a behavior. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the devils made the poor so-called Negroes, reared them, breeded them for 400 years, and put fear in them when they were babies. They kept them away from their people, right? So they reared the Negroes, breeded them for 400 years. This is what Allah is talking about, the immediate attack. And then now you are practicing a culture, the sunnah of the ancestors. Now your mama is acting like it. Your daddy is acting like it. And now it's being passed from generation to generation. It's a curse now, right? So the white man put the light against the dark, right? Now black people are like, oh, I got more money than you. Oh, my hair texture is better than you. Oh, I'm better because I got a degree and you don't. I'm better because I live in this neighborhood and you don't. I'm better because I got this kind of car, these kind of clothes. I shop at this kind of store. I'm this kind of tall. The way this kind of gender wars, right? The black woman thinks she better because the white man made it a little bit easier for her in America. Gender wars. You got the motherfucker who's priding because he got a daddy and the other one don't. Elijah Muhammad speaks the truth, but Allah is the more truer. What can stop a people from believing and following the spiritual guidance, except that they've been attacked mentally and physically, and then they inherited a mental traumatic culture? Nothing. That's the reason. See, what happens is when you have breeded a man like that, you have imbued them, impregnated them with the demon of jealousy, right? Because out of all of that I just mentioned, you get robbery, slander, gossip, mockery, murder, liars. You get depression, hopelessness, right? You get afraid motherfuckers, you get fat motherfuckers, you get single mothers, STDs, drug dealers, right? Mass incarceration, stealing, greed, stingy motherfucker. You get all of these demons that come from what? The very superficial things that the white man used to separate us. Again, every kafir is a racist. A racist or a kafir is someone who commits treason, someone who doesn't believe in God. So Allah is basically saying, and what could stop the people from believing? What could make a racist? This is how you make a racist right here. You have to beat them up. You have to traumatize them physically and mentally. And then you give them a fucking behavior. And then these people would then breed this behavior to their children's children's. And 2021, you'll see in Harlem, New York, that the shit is just operating on its own. In fucking suburbia black America, Maryland, where you see black kids looking at poor kids better, like they better because they live in a better neighborhood. They got better clothes. This stuff is happening right now where black folks are hating on the other black person because one's darker and the other's lighter. This is making people depressed, making people want to rob, making people want to steal and do drug dealing because why? Of the hopelessness. People become afraid of other people. Black on black crime. Called Negro has been possessed by Satan, by racism. That even the Mahdi, who comes to wake them up, they will be jealous. But of course, they're going to hide their jealousy. Remember, a racist motherfucker is really a jealous motherfucker. But they hide their jealousy. Why would a person don't want to know? Why would a person not want to expose their jealousy? Because if you let somebody know you jealous, then you look despicable. You look pitiful. You look like a loser. Jealous people are really losers on the inside. They don't feel good about themselves. That's why they jealous. But they can't let you know, so they have to use superficial things to base their personal value. That's why the devil said, because I'm fire, God. You made me out of fire. But Jesus gave us the inside scoop. It was really because he was jealous that Adam was going to be a prophet and 144,000 strong. So you see, the so-called Negro is jealous of me because I'm smart, I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm wise, I'm confident and cool. They see me out there preaching, but they still won't show love. They won't give a donation. They won't give me no support. That's why Allah says, and what could stop the people from believing when divine guidance comes to them? The Mahdi means divinely guided. Mahdi means spiritually guided, one who walks with God. I walk with God. But they still don't want to recognize their Moorish king. You see how shallow the motherfuckers could get? Racism according to Moorish law. All right. I'm going to now show where the root comes from. Why black folks are so fucking racist. Because this is the reason why they won't believe. Because black people are really racist. The so-called Negro in America are really racist. It's not the white man. The white man is the root of the racism. We know that they the ones who impregnated the racist demon inside of us. But when the spiritually guided one comes to wake you up and you don't follow the spiritually guided one, then you were racist. But real racism is hitting under jealousy. Get it? The white man says in the Declaration of Independence, this is Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and all the motherfuckers. They said, it becomes necessary for one people to assume power in the earth that God entitled them. So they think that they are God's chosen. It becomes necessary for one people to assume power in the earth that God entitled them. Right? The white man studied Moorish law. Then what? Stole plays out of the textbook to play the game of Monopoly on Abraham's children. And today you got Negroes watching football. You see what I'm saying? The white man studied Moorish law, then stole plays out the textbook and used it against the children of Abraham in a monopoly. So the white man believes that he is God's chosen. They believe that God chose them to be the ones to assume authority on earth. But what does God say? Chapter 2, 124. I have designated you, Abraham, as leader of the free world. 43:28. And I designated this to be a word continuing in his bloodline, so that they may return. So what is the white man talking about? That God gave him the entitlement of assuming an authority on the earth. One people. That's what they said in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. That it is the duty. Let me go. It becomes necessary for one people to assume power in the earth that God entitled them. But God entitled this duty to the children of Abraham. The white man is not a child of Abraham. The white man is a child of Japheth. He comes from the white man, the Caucasus Mountains. Ain't that right? So you see, the racist white man was hiding the jealousy, and that's why he captured us and brought us over here and put us through all that abuse, because he is jealous that God chose the so-called Moorish, the Moorish bloodline, the royal crown, to assume authority and be the leader of the free world. Racist motherfuckers, ain't they? Allah designated the children of Abraham, fixed the children of Abraham, set and determined to name, to assign. You get what I'm saying? Ja'ala, Allah Ja'ala the children of Abraham to be rulers of the free world. But the white man studied the Moorish law and took that right out of our textbook. And now they got a monopoly over us, cuz. They created a system to enforce, practice, and breed racism. Education, culture, politics, economics, law, entertainment, military, okay? Harlem has 6 different nations running businesses but won't hire no black people. That's economics. That's racism in economics, okay? Most black children are educated by white women in the United States. That's education, racism in the education. Eugenics, okay? Ma'afa, Planned Parenthood, police brutality, Dred Scott case. We can talk about the Polite case right now. They giving Polite $50,000 Polite just paid just to get on bail, just to stay on bail. That's law, son. Racism in law. All right? Black people have no political representation in the government. You understand what I'm saying? Racism has now been put on a systematic level. This is called deen in Islam, religion. But you niggas don't want to follow religion. So I guess you want to be a slave of the white man. But I got news for you, Negro. That I am the Mahdi, the guided one sent by Allah to the so-called Moorish bloodline and the children of Israel, because we are Abraham's children here scattered in the West. Ain't that right? Sent to tell you about who the fuck you are. You better rid yourself from this racist demon soon. Stop being jealous of your own people. Because if you don't, I guarantee you're going to get that fucking fire. You're going to get that smash, because Allah going to raise me up out of this. I guarantee you. When Allah raise me up, I ain't going to show no mercy. I'm going to remember all you motherfuckers who denied me. I guarantee you. So take heed to the warning that the Mahdi is telling you. It's coming. Yawmuddin is coming. You want to follow the religion of the white man or follow the religion of your ancestors? Choose one. Ayah.